saying no to people's limits on my reality because their limits are not my reality. It's time for a workout, baby. We're so ready for this. You gotta get your pre going in here. We got some delicious pre. This stuff is not tasty, but sometimes, just like when you start any difficult beginning, you just have to embrace the flinch. That is a helpful tactic. You do that, everything changes. All right, so we're gonna get this workout in. I'm not super excited because like this drink is just bad. My CNS might not be recovered well enough, but we're just gonna go with it. We're gonna see what happens. It's gonna be great. We've loaded the pre in the chamber, so now it's time to get to work because you can't wait long with this. It's already tingling my like whole face off, so we gotta go. Everybody's grinding in here right now. It's kind of like, it's a strong vibe. Check in, getting absolutely demolished with my wrists, but we're still hitting PRs, so it's all good. Sometimes you just have to push through the headache or the mental blocks that you're experiencing just to, honestly, so much of it is just the repping out of things you don't like. So let's keep going. Sweet. Love this place. Gonna be missing this. I am not gonna have this for very much longer because, dude, I'll be 21. I won't have an ID anymore to get onto the academy, so that'll suck. But it's a pretty little place over here. I love this place. I saw a homie from boot camp today. He recognized me. I did not recognize him, but we were telling old stories about boot camp, so that was like really tight. I wish I was still brothers with those people sometimes. You ever feel that where you're wondering, man, should I have done that? Like, was that the thing that I missed? I have those questions in my head all the time, and it's really hard to know. I'm going around again because I want to go by the waterfront where it's pretty, so that's what we're gonna do. Yeah, it's really hard to know and to trust and to tell everybody, all of my military people growing up in like a military world, for me, all of our friends being military, everything like that, and me just being like the black sheep of like, yeah, I'm gonna go do this, you know, creator thing, I'm gonna go be an entrepreneur, I'm gonna go do whatever, and everybody else in my family, like, you know, went to the academy and did that whole thing. It's like generational, so it's kind of, I mean, I know a lot of people do that, but like, I just think that's, it's a special kind of experience because you don't really know what you're like getting yourself into. Look at that, that's so cool. I love that lighting. And you can see out the top. Yay! You just never really know what that's gonna look like on the other side because you've never done it before and nobody else has ever done it before. So the only guidance you can find is the guidance that you choose to carve out for yourself and, you know, find those mentors. This is where I used to train basketball all the time back in the day. This is one of the greatest gyms of all time. It's just like, it's quite lovely. I do miss this place. Like I said, there's a lot of times where I have these questions in my head, like, should I have gone here? Like, was this supposed to be my home? I mean, I grew up on the academy for most of my high school years, or right next to it. So this place is like, it's really home to me. And maybe I should make a whole video about why I didn't go to the academy and why I chose to become an entrepreneur and a creator and more of someone who wants to be an expert than a military officer, because that was a hard choice for me. As the most socially acceptable thing I could have done was to continue on with, you know, get that scholarship, get those things, lock it all in together, and be that like a perfect resume kind of person. But that's just far from who I really am. And check out this freaking bridge. Look at that. So cool. I love this area. This area is just the most beautiful place you can ever be at night, with all these just beautiful bridges and lights and stuff. It's definitely a great place to do photos. In fact, I need to do photo shoots out here more often. It's not something that I do remotely enough, but I'd like to get more into it. But that was the biggest thing. I mean, one of it was like for me not getting into the academy. It's hard, or I didn't get into the academy because I didn't apply. Because I didn't want to go to the academy. I'm still trying to understand what my true reasoning was behind that and what my true motives were behind that. I mean, you know, it's hard to like decipher what you were thinking as a high schooler, like a 14-year-old high schooler. But one of the big motives that I had, that I think I really felt at a deep level, was I wasn't like all of my military family friends. You know, we have, like, if you're in a military family, you know this, like, you know all these other military families, right? And I never felt like I really fit in with them. And I mean, I was disciplined, I had, you know, excellence, I had like those basic traits and qualities, but when it comes to like the philosophies, at a grand vision for your life, I just didn't see that. And I know it's like, yeah, some people don't care about that, but from the world that I was growing up in, and there's like literally my grandpa's jet that he used to fly right there. It's the B or the A7, I think it's the A7 or the A6. It's crazy, right? Like, so this is what my like world was, right? This is like what I was supposed to be. And trust me, I hear it all the time, like all these reminders of like how I'm not what I was supposed to be. People just kind of like, that's something you get a lot. Maybe this is just me, but like growing, you know, being in the military world, you get that a lot. I don't know what I'm gonna look like on camera, so fuck it. You get that a lot, like in the military world. In my family, at least, this is like, it's very much like, there's a lot of value in that tradition, and there's like a lot of heritage there, and it's security too. So, you know, generationally, like 3, 4, 5 generations of like military people, and then just to be like, nope. And part of it was because I got medically disqualified. So I was in an ROTC program, and I need to turn on the air because I'm nasty and I'm fucking marking up the windows with my sweat. That's disgusting. Look at this. You see this? I don't know if you can see that. You can't see anymore because I turned on the air. Yeah, buddy. Oh, we're behind a school bus. Looks like we're gonna be driving slow today, folks. It's okay. It's all good. I love my lights in here. I should change up the lights. They're kind of purple right now. See, they're purple. So not going was definitely one of the odd choices for me, but at the end of the day, the reason why I couldn't do it is I just knew that wasn't my world. I didn't feel like, it's like I could have belonged there and I needed belonging, but I didn't sacrifice my true, I guess you could say, like that calling inside of my heart, that true creative drive. I didn't sacrifice that unique contribution that I wanted to make or the congruence with what I knew was the best of who I was, right? Like, I knew there was this vision for myself, and I'd kind of had it for a long time of like, I didn't really know what it was supposed to look like, but I just knew I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew I wanted to be successful, and I wanted to be independent, and I didn't want to rely on other people for a paycheck, for my success, for really anything. I really, really wanted to be independent. It's like, that's part of the drive of just being a middle child. And I couldn't give up that drive inside of me for connection. And I almost did. Like, trust me, I was so freaking close to just like going in and being that. And you know, luckily enough, that didn't work out because of my health issues that I still kind of deal with this to this day. No one really believes me because they're like, oh yeah, but I just have like a lot of inflammation from an autoimmune dysfunction. So whenever there's like a high amount of stress, whenever I'm under a high amount of stress, that will kind of flare up, and it's definitely not fun. But it hasn't happened in a while, so it's all good. That was a long rant. I love the military people, right? I just didn't like, there's too many things that I just thought, I don't really know if that's me. And I think it's great, and I think it's beautiful, and I think it's awesome, you know? But I also know that that just wasn't my unique contribution that I wanted to make to the world. And sure, you can do multiple things. I get that. It's funny. I hope you can hear my voice that I'm still, to this day, I still kind of wonder, like, was this the right decision? Why am I doing this? You know, like, what the hell even is this? Like, I'm shooting all of these horribly shitty YouTube videos. Like, what on earth? Like, what was that trade-off for, right? And I mean, you tell, it's so funny whenever people are like, you know, how's the entrepreneur thing going? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it's a journey, right? I'd like to say that, you know, in my vision for my life, I genuinely thought I was gonna have, quote unquote, made it out by now. But I'm living at my parents' house, full transparency, and working for legitimately, like, I think $12 an hour, like dirt cheap. Now, I'll explain why. It's an apprenticeship. It's at a cool job. I'm doing like an innovation lab, marketing, campaign, content type stuff. So it's all things that I love, right? But full transparency, I did not expect to be having dropped out of school twice now, and just kind of like, what the hell, man? Like, what is going on? When is it going to be just good? It's been like this for, I mean, I guess 3 years, but one thing I always knew was that I wasn't going to conform to what everyone else was doing just because my thing wasn't working yet. Maybe that's something you can take away from this. I know I've been just literally rambling about a bunch of random shit, but that for sure is a reality that I still hold fast to and that I'm deeply committed to, even though I just haven't shown up perfectly for myself. I've been inconsistent in a lot of my own personal habits and really, you know, creating the life that I want. And I've done really well in other areas, right? I've definitely grown, but there's so much more work to do, and I can see that. But I'm not gonna let that discourage me from continuing on this track and from following this delayed gratification loop. I think it's hard to go do something that nobody in your family's ever done before, nobody in really your close circle has ever done before. That's what it is for me. I don't really know a lot of hardcore entrepreneurs or people who are entrepreneurs kind of in the modern world sense. But I want my kids to grow up with that. I want my kids to know that they can do anything. And I want you to know that you can do anything. That's why I'm doing this. You know, I don't plan to be like, you know, trying to make myself some kind of like ultra fancy influencer. I'm less concerned about the image and the necessarily like the gross stats. But what I am concerned about is making a dream possible. And I think that's something that I want everyone to know, is that like your dreams can become a reality. And my mission here, my job here with you with this like whole channel, is to take you through that journey, like to take you legitimately on the journey. Because I'm telling you right now, I have genuinely not made it. So I'm back. Phone died, so let's catch up on that. I feel so far behind in my life. Like, I'm about to turn 21, and I just don't feel like I've done anything. And I know I have. I've been like, you know, trying shit and like moving things around and putting myself out there. But as far as the like, I haven't made it to that point where I'm like, everything, man. And I've had like those moments, right, where you have those like the milestones. I've had like a million milestones, but I haven't like gotten a mountain yet. And I want to just find the mountain. I don't even know what the mountain is, but that's what we're going to do. just a little journey, little experiment, little social experiment for taking back your life and finding what it is that brings you uniquely alive and how to do that and just live your life doing that. Like live in full abundance, full aliveness, full alignment with the best of who you are, right? The realness inside your heart that says like, that's what I want to do. That's why I didn't do the whole military thing. That's why I told you that story in the first place, was because like, it was so interesting to see that, to see my friends, you know, from like 2-3 years ago, you know, almost about to graduate and, you know, get their assignments for like where they're going to go in the world. And I'm over here like doing shit like that. Like what, you know? So that's just real talk. Honestly, I don't know what else to tell you other than I've like, you know, built vision boards like 1,000,000 times and erased them because plans change, life changes, shit happens, and then things blow up in your face. But I'm a nerd. And so I thought it'd be kind of cool if we make some kind of like nerd process for systemizing and winning in life, because I only know that if I can do this and if I can walk you through this journey with you, it will be 1,000% worth it. Not because like selfishly it's gonna make me look good, but because I want people to know that it's possible. I want my kids to know it's possible. I want you to know that it's possible to change. So what better way to do that than to force myself to change with you? There's a lot of changes that I need to make. I need to be here more consistently. I need to be grounded in this zone. This zone, right? Not over there or over there. Time zones are such a big deal. And man, this sound is freaking bad. We're going to work on that too. That's what we got to get going though. We got to just get in the flow, in the motion. Doesn't matter how messy it is right now. It matters that you just move forward into that world that you want to create, not the world that you feel the compulsion for conformity, for societal connection, to get that confirmation from others. I think it's great to have relationships. I think it's great to have connection. I think you should strive for that, but not at the sacrifice for your own personal congruence. When you lose that congruence, the zest goes away. When you lose that challenge, that mountain that you want to climb, the real drive goes away. You don't feel driven. I mean, like you might feel driven because you have to, because you need security. But those are the baseline drives of like, oh, I need security, I need control, I need, you know, care. There's some other ones, right? I'm not trying to get into that right now. I don't want to sacrifice these higher drives for these baseline drives. Baseline drives are important. Yes, you should handle those. But I see this bigger place that I want to be at in 5 years. And it's not on a boat in the middle of the ocean working for somebody above me. It's on a boat in the middle of the ocean, but it's my boat, motherfucker. Yeah. Sorry, I was just thinking of my best friends. We always talk about like having boats someday and like hanging out. And that's the real vision. Like not the wealth factor. That's not what I'm trying to talk about. I am not a wealth expert. I'm broke. But I'm going to get there. So I was like, what are the changes we're going to make along the way? Like, what are the big changes that are going to change my life? They're going to, and like, I want to document the changes. So I'm not just talking shit. I'm actually like, hey, here's a real human being in real life who is starting at zero. I've been starting at zero. Like, I'm telling you, 3 months ago, I was stuck. I just, like, you know, school blew up in my face. School came to financial ruin. I had this run. I want to tell this story another time too, in like more depth. But I was on this run. I just heard from my girlfriend at the time that the school was gonna go like broke, and like nobody's coming back. And in that moment, I kind of knew in my head, I was like, this relationship isn't going to work. And I didn't want to accept that. I was denying that. I was avoiding that truth so hard. Like, I was like, I do not want to ever think about that. So I went for a run, which is exactly what I do when I'm trying to escape my reality. I like literally physically run, right? So I did that. And during that time, I had those moments, like that moment where I was like, whatever happens, and this has happened to me multiple times when shit is just blown up in my face. Like the first time it happened, boot camp. I go to boot camp. Everything's great. I win. It's all cool. You get the $200K scholarship, and then shit blows up in your face 2 weeks into school because you're medically disqualified. Peace. And then I'm like, all right, shit. Now I'm like sitting here in front of these papers, and I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with my life? I don't know. I'm going to go try to make a difference, see what happens, make it out. Don't know. Guess what? We already talked about this in the last episode of my podcast called How to Stop Beating Yourself Up. So go listen to that on Lightmind. I love the podcast. That's my real jam. But we're working on this too. All that being said, I went through that process the first time, and I had the same exact self-talk routine the second time when my other school fell apart at New York City, which goes like this, right? I just knew when I was on that run, and I'm just looking across the Brooklyn Bridge, and there's just lights, and all I can hear is my breath. In that moment, I told this to myself. It was kind of a subconscious, like just knowing that whatever happens to you, whatever happens to your relationships, no matter if everyone leaves you, you're not going to abandon yourself, and you're not going to give up on yourself. And I had that switch in my mind, and then I just kept running faster and faster and faster up the steady incline of the Brooklyn Bridge, which is like a nice long run. It feels really good, especially in the cold. And I will never forget, I was running in these beat up Converse right here. These boys are destroyed. I know. I was running in Converse in probably shorts in the middle of winter in New York City, which was amazing because I love the cold ripping my face off. For me, that was just the moment that I had to make that decision of like, I'm not going to stay at this place. This place sucks. This is going to be bad. I already knew in my head, I was like, I think I might lose everything. And everything in my mind was my girlfriend, my friends, and my school, which was my security because I was avoiding the business, the work, the unknown future of just like trying stuff and going all in on it. By the way, what if you just went for it and never looked back? That's like the top thing up here for my shoulder angel, which just says fuck opinions, homie. I say that because that's what I had to do. And I don't say that I went for it in that moment. I didn't. But I did make the decision that no matter what happens, I'm going to back myself. And when I got home and, I would say like 2 weeks after getting home, my girlfriend, then at the time in Guam, broke up with me. And that was like, mentally, I wasn't prepared for that because I was avoiding the reality that we weren't in alignment. So that was a major shock to me in a sense, because I was like, damn, I was really planning on this. But that's because my whole planning on that was based on the avoidance of my reality, that I wasn't living in the alignment with the best of myself. And therefore, we weren't even remotely in alignment because I wasn't even in full clarity of my real self. I wasn't even in full awareness. How can you have real alignment with yourself, let alone relationally, if you don't have clear awareness of your own point in your identity, in your life, in your own congruence, right? So knowing that, I know that's like a bunch of word salad for you today, so just don't trip about that. We'll talk about it later when we get into like the frameworks and the nerdiness, when I pull out the books and the journals and the notebooks. I'm telling you, we're going to go library mode. We're going to go framework mode. We're going to pull some stickies out. It's going to be great, okay? It's going to be great. But back to the point here. Girly broke up with me. Super dope human being. So thankful for that. That changed my life. That changed the entire trajectory of the last 6 months for me. Like these last 6 months. Because that was in June. So I guess that was more like 5 months ago. Almost 6. Now it's coming up on 6, which is super cool. I want to say it was June 2nd. Knowing that, it was like, well, I already knew immediately. I was like, well, this is the sign to just gun it in your life. Like, you were using a relationship to avoid the reality of your life and the trajectory of your life. I was legitimately planning to go to her school for no other reason than I just wanted to be around her, which is great because she's like super dope, right? But I was using her to avoid my reality. I did not want to go to school. That for me was that moment where I had to fully accept my reality and own the fact that I wasn't living my best life. I wasn't living on that track, right? When you're living on that track, you know because you know you're doing good for your future self. When you're not, man, my neck is just zonked from this workout. When you're not, like, it eats away your brain, it eats away your congruence and your self-trust. And what I mean by self-trust is not like this egoic, superior pride of like, oh, I'm separate and I'm better than everyone. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is the ability to believe that you can succeed. Plain and simple. Can you learn? Can you succeed? That's self-trust. Is I believe I can adapt and grow and change and figure shit out no matter what comes my way. That's a mindset you got to have. If you don't have that, you're just not going to change because you don't believe it's even possible. You can't even see it for yourself. So I had to kind of go through that whole process of like dealing with my, just like really like owning myself and my life and loving myself again, truly. So I have videos and I'll show you them. I'm gonna call it like Acne Incorporated or something. It's when I just had like a whole massive breakout. Like my face was just demolished. It was horrible. But I'm here now and I'm glowing. Jeez. Maybe I'm not glowing, but I'm a lot healthier than I used to be. And that's a growth for sure. You know, like I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud that I'm here right now with you and that I didn't stop at that moment when everything was like falling apart for me or when it felt like everything was falling apart, because sometimes things will feel like they're falling apart for you. That doesn't mean it's the end for you. And maybe that's like super cliche or basic because it sounded really good in my head and it sounded really bad when it came out. Sometimes that will happen. It's better on the podcast. You should listen to the podcast instead. All that being said, I want you to know just because something in your life falls apart doesn't mean you are broken. And being able to understand that things happen in your life, they're changes. Something leaves your life because something new is coming in. It's plain and simple. And I remember getting like a lot of twos. Like, I don't know if you believe in angel numbers. I believe in angel numbers. I believe they're just signs, encouragements for you to keep going. Very simple. I take signs from nature. I take signs from people. I take signs from everything. Why? Because I want to take as many cue points as possible to get into the intention flow where I'm in that zone and I'm here with you and I'm present because I'm in the zone. I know my deepest desires and I'm aligned with the truth of who I am. I'm not stuck in these constructs of trying to make people happy or trying to avoid the uncomfortable realities in my life through making people happy. That's a really bad one right there. Let me tell you, that's very popular. Very popular is very bad too. And that's like real for me. So that's the only reason why I share it. I can see it in everyone else because I can see it myself. So I had to deal with that. And I'm so glad I did because, 2 months later, grinding at this gym job. Literally, my parents don't even know this. I literally dropped out of school in like April. My boy Joe knows. He knows because we both did it together like the same night. That was such an impulsive decision. I was like, this is such a bad decision. And then I was like, but I'm not going back, so it doesn't matter. Thank you. It's been 6 months. And I'm just this broke kid over here making like under $2,000 a month. I make $1,800 a month working pretty much full time for this design. And the reason why is because it's skill building for me. It's growth for me. You know what I doubled down on when shit hit the fan and blew up? Skill sets. Health. Do those two things, you will be a weapon. Boom. It's like I spent some time with friends. I called my A-team. I called my homies. So anybody is my homies, my boy George, my boy Joe, my boy Spencer, my newest homie, Reese. All of these people have just come around me and been like my genuine, and I hope I didn't forget anybody. If I did, I'm sorry. But like those are my homies in my head. So if you weren't listed, anyways, all my boys know that if we're homies, we're homies. If not, it's not like anything personal. It's just like you got your friends and I got mine. That's all good. I just think it's so funny because I like ruthlessly ghost people that, I don't actually ghost them. I just move along. I move along from relationships that don't necessarily serve me because they're not growth mode for me. And so if they're not growth mode, I'm like, bye-bye. I'm going this way. That's what I had to do. And now I'm here in front of you with absolutely nothing. So I'm going to be here for the next couple years because I don't have an option anymore. Like, I don't have anywhere to run. I don't have anywhere to hide. I don't have anything to lose. So you might as well move your life forward and do what the hell you want to do. Right? If you're going to do what you love, just remember you have nothing to lose. Like, the only thing you have to lose is their opinions and their judgments of you, which they are already judging you anyways. So it doesn't really matter. Like, love your people, obviously. Care about people. That's not what I'm trying to go for. I'm not saying don't care about people. I'm saying genuinely choose your direction and don't cave and conform just because it's societally comfortable or acceptable right now. Things are about to blow crazy. They're going to be crazy for the next couple months and years. So, let's prepare for that. Let's build something better. And we're just going on the process. You can join, you can leave, you can come, you can go. All that matters is that you find your way. I just want you to find your way. Like freaking Prince Zuko from Avatar. All that Uncle Iroh wants for him is for him to find his way. Zuko, if you can just find your way, Prince Zuko. I can't do his accent right now. I gotta work on that. Okay, I need to run. But here's what I'm gonna tell you right now. If you really want something in your life, become so undeniably good they can't ignore you. And it's okay to want more for your life. It's okay to want more than what your family has, than what your family wants for you, than what your peers want. It's okay to want your own vision for your life and to go chase after that and to build that and to go skill up into that and to go serve and level up your service into that, to level up your own self-management into that. You can do that because you can grow. You can fucking do it. And I'm going to prove it. I don't know how I'm going to prove it, but we're going to do it. And then this word becomes a way. I'm saying no to people's limits on my reality because their limits are not my reality. Remember, your internal insecurities are not your future reality. They only become that when you integrate that insecurity, when you live in that insecurity. That's why I'm encouraging you just send it. Just go for it. You have nothing to lose. Thanks for being here. Peace.